Alrighty. I haven't been doing a lot of these lately. I haven't felt it. And now this one I did feel. Remember years ago, or it's still out there, the idea you must choose between love and fear. You have to either choose love or fear. Right? It's an either or proposition. You must choose love or fear. That never sat right with me. Never resonated with me. And it's always, there's something not right about that. Hi, babies. Say hello to the doggies. Miley, Gabby, Bentley, and Allie. They're like circus animals. Hard to keep in their place. Anyway, so there was something always. I have another video. It's called "There's Nothing to Fear, Including Fear Itself." There's nothing to fear but fear itself, said by Father FDR, father of the country, male worship, patriarchy, sky gods. And where the deeper, where you go non-duality, there is a place, like the famous Rumi thing that we love, out beyond right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond right and wrong, beyond the knowledge of good and evil, I'll meet you there. Out beyond, beyond. And there's also another thing out there called service to self or service to others. Or service to others. Now, I'm not saying that these are not accurate, the love or fear, or the service to self, or service to others. That is a reality, absolutely. And service to self, ego, self-aggrandizement, get them before they get you, looking out for number one. Fuck them. I just want to get what I want. Power über alles. Self-ego. Yes. The evolution is from survival, terror, fear, kill or be killed, fight or flight, predator, prey, using others for your purposes. The evolution from there is when you recognize your brain, more cognition, remember, put yourself back together instead of the dismembered state, the shattered, scattered, crashed chakra systems we have, into remembering others. Oh, others are myself. I and my father are one. I and my mother are one. I and others are pieces of myself. The bodhisattva, the service to others. That is evolving from pure selfishness, in the sense of ego selfishness, or fight or flight, or scarcity. They've scared you into cities. They've scared you into huddling in the cities. Right? And then they're going to irradiate you with 5G and all that stuff. And feed you horrible weaponized food and get you in the pharmaceutical industry and so forth. Yes. So it's better when we start waking up and realizing service to others, but then that can become unbalanced also. Is there a place beyond the either or? When Osho says it's never either or, it's always both or more. It's never either or, it's always both or more. I would change it a little to, it's hardly ever either or, it's usually both or more. Because we create the reality, so we can create the you must choose fear or love, or service to others versus service to self. We can create that. Grapefruits, ripe grapefruits. Anybody want some grapefruits? These are the pink ones. They're good. Our mandarin tree is still doing great. We've only had one drop. We let them drop naturally. So we've got a few more mandarins coming. So I've had glimpses of, not fully there yet, I'm going through major reformatting myself right now, major upgrade, call it Kundalini awakening or spiritual emergency or ego dissolution or the terror of facing source or whatever you want to call it, the Shiva destruction, all the same things. Okay, Miley, leave it, come on. Leave the neighbor's dogs alone, we're fine. So there is a place beyond service to self or service to others. This is what God's curing me of right now. Tobias, you were on a mission, Spirit, the universe tells me, where you felt you had made some oaths to help rescue the planetary civilization. And you were starting to get a bit stuck in that. Samskara, the wheel of the Dharma, the crushing of the automaticities, the oaths. We make oaths. What if there is a place, or is there a place, or feel where what you want to do naturally is what you want to do, i.e. you're serving yourself. This is what I want, is also automatically the highest possible service to others that you could do. Feel that place. You think Babaji or Jesus or Yogananda or Saint Germain or whoever, the Bodhisattvas, the thousands of saints, the awake ones, the unnamed ones, the ones beyond names. There's a chapter in my book called The No Names. When I try to talk to these beings, they would refuse to give me names. They go, we don't do names. We don't do names anymore. The raw people, the raw material, they are both a collective and still an individuality. I am raw so-and-so. The Venusian, it's far out, I know, Venus, 2.3 billion years ago, as they ascend collectively into what the equivalent would be here as the Logos, the Christos for Earth, but they call it raw. I am raw so-and-so. Here it would be, you are so-and-so Christ. I am Tobias Christ, a Tobias Buddha, a Steve Buddha, Marilyn Buddha, whatever our names are, we retain some individuality. But there's also a place beyond individuality, out beyond the ideas of right and wrong, out beyond the knowledge of good and evil. I was just hearing in Neville Goddard. I've been listening to him lately because I'm being cured of any judgment I have on Christianity. And he's a true mystic Christian, Neville Goddard. Beautiful. And he was quoting William Blake. And anyone who's been a true mystic, like William Blake, uneducated but pure mystic, elevated to unbelievable recognition, even by the formal academia, where Blake says, I consider neither the just nor the unjust, meaning good people or the evil people, as final states. They are just temporary expressions of something much purer, much deeper that we really are. I know, when I've had glimpses of it, and I'm starting to get the teaching now, that what arises naturally, what fountains up inside your heart, inside every chakra is a fountain. Not just the seven. The Tree of Life meditation that we're creating is going to have the 9 chakras. There's the black chakra, which showed up for me 3 or 4 years ago in a talk. Spontaneously, it showed up. Spirit showed me the black chakra between our knees. And I didn't see any references anywhere on Google about it. I saw one thing, that's it. But we're starting to discover it now. It hasn't been said. We have judged the dark, we've judged the void, we've judged the womb, we've judged the mother, we've judged empty space. We've been hyper-worshipping the light, 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 the light. And what does it come from? What happens when you over-worship light? And you're not balanced with electromagneto, magnetic, womb, mother, ma, matrix. So out beyond ideas, concepts, you've been conned into concepts of right and wrong. I would suggest there is a place, explore it for yourself, where when you serve yourself, when Jesus and company and the masters, pick whoever you want, Buddha, Shiva, Mataji, mothers, goddesses, the true ones, not the ones we made up. We create a lot of them by us. We actually create them by our imaging them in, and then we feed them energy and they become these strange God entities. I'm talking about the real ones. They are doing exactly what is their highest bliss. They are doing their highest bliss. And at the same time are doing ultimate, so they're being service to self, meaning this is what I want to do. And then as Babaji sits there in the Himalayas, as Shiva exists across the galaxy, as Pele has ascended as a human into the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, as Kuan Yin, who I met about a year ago, I had a Chinese client come and meet me in Seattle, and wanted me to work with her for a week, a woman from Hong Kong. And God bless you if you ever watch this. Thank you so much for your support, by the way. And before I left, Kuan Yin at my friend's house, he had just gotten a 3-foot bust, a big statue with just a head of Kuan Yin. And I said, I've never really connected to her. And right there, he said, yeah, she wants to connect with you. And I did. Like, you know, this beyond space-time, timelines connection. And when I did the session with this woman and her mother came along as a chaperone for the first session to make sure I wasn't some crazy, you know, pretty far out stuff what we do. Her mother promptly went to sleep. The angels put her mother to sleep. And Kuan Yin came in and talked to me and through me to her and showed me the whole overarching history of China and her role. Now, Kuan Yin is incredibly into service. She's serving others all the time. It's the Mother Mary figure. But she's also doing exactly what she wants to be doing. It's her highest bliss. There's nothing else she could think of that she would want to do. So the artificial separation of you're either service to self or service to others. There is a place beyond that. You must choose between fear or love. No, not so much, maybe. Right? What if we could start accessing, a few of us, or many of us, or thousands of us, the place beyond that? That usually only poets and seers and like Rumi or visionaries like William Blake reach, of beyond the no ledge, standing on the ledge of knowing of good and evil. I suggest that's a real place. Feel it right now. Imagine in your spheres are the natural shape of all beings and planets and suns. The basic shape is a sphere. I haven't seen any tetrahedral suns lately, or square planets. So most spirits above 4D are either 5D points of light, 4D or orbs. By the way, on the webcast last week we had, I am the first to point out that 95% of all what people think are orbs are dust particles and water droplets. I agree with that. But this one moved around. And we caught it on camera on the webcast. It just showed up at one point. It manifested like out of my shoulder and came up. And it looks like the real thing. Unless for some reason the water droplets were dancing around my room, which I couldn't imagine why. I had no fans going at the time or anything like that. Webcasts every Sunday. I'm still allowed to do those. TobiasLars.com. Sign up for the webcasts if you're interested. Out beyond the ideas, the concepts, the belief systems, beyond good and evil, there is a field. I'll meet you there. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to be. I'm kind of tired of duality, up and down, the samskara, the crushing wheel, the Buddhist wheel crushing you. When you're up, you're like, oh, life's fantastic. The wheel turns, you're being crushed under the wheel on the gravel. Life's horrible, I want to kill myself. Haven't you had enough of that? Would you like to step to the middle and be the observer? It's possible. I'm not minimizing it. I've been getting my ass kicked for 5 months. I'm just seeing a glimmer of hope, but I don't count, Shiva is unrelenting. Jesus is unrelenting. Lucifer is unrelenting. They're all aspects of God, by all of it. The mothers, divine mothers, time to include them. The deeper teaching is they're all working for the same purpose, to help us all wake up. Even the ones you've considered evil, beyond good and evil. So, what would it be like to live in a place where the artificial dualities, the created dualities of service to self or service to others, or you must choose between fear and love? Of course not. I'm not choosing only love. Fear is my helper. I've been having massive fear into the darkness, into the void, into the 7 circles of the pits of hell the last 6 months. Terror, existential terror. When I can surrender to it, it is a huge awakener, and the energy is sparked from the death, from the nothingness, from the 0 point of terror and fear. When you embrace or relax into your fear, it's the best mileage you can get on your spiritual path. Over worshiping and the light and trying to chant the light and imagine and meditate for world peace. Okay, I'm making fun there, I know a little bit, but I'm trying to show if you over worship the light, it's very unbalanced. Instead of dividing them, maybe the Hindu tradition is Shiva and Krishna are both playboy, lover, and the darkness, and it's both. Service to self, what I most want to do, the highest dream and bliss inside me, is the most helpful thing I could ever do for me, my family, my community, my planet, my country, my galaxy, my universe. My highest bliss. Babaji's doing it right now. Krishna, I would suggest, who is Babaji in my opinion. Jesus is doing it. All the masters are doing it. They're holding space because it's their highest bliss pouring through them, and they are reverberating, enumerating, effervescing that into the rest of the cosmos. They're holding the space for the rest of us to join up, to remember. They're doing their biggest selfish thing they could do, yet at the same time the hugest service. What if you found that place inside yourself? Much love. Start with the innerbodyawakening.com. Get grounded with real energy if you want personal healing. If you've had enough researching out there on the internet or theorizing or having theory land, which is worse than Disneyland, as I call it, as far as plasticity, and you want real experience, maybe I'm going to be traveling again this year, some places, but we'll definitely be doing the online webcasts and the full weekend seminars. Much love. TobiasLars.com if you're interested in more of my offerings. All right. Much love. More later.